Hi, folks. This is the May issue of the Mover magazine, and here we are midst lockdown. We're just about, as I speak, some countries are just about poking their heads above the parapet to see what happens. Germany has done to some extent. New Zealand did the other day. Back here in the UK, we're still firmly locked down, and our government is not saying anything at all about what's likely to happen in the future. So we're just, I think it's what they call mushroom management, isn't it? You know what that is. Anyway, there you go. But the magazine is out as always, as bang on time, and there's lots in it, of course, that I'm sure you're going to enjoy. The cover story is an interview with an old friend of mine, Mark Jeffrey, who I used to work with back in the old days when we both worked for TransEuro together. And Mark was he was the sort of the recognised super salesman of the moving industry in London at that time. And of course, he's not exactly retired now. He's still involved, but he agreed to spill some of the beans, really, to talk a little bit about some of the techniques that he used to use, back in the 1980s and 90s, and later, of course, to try to make the best of the corporate market at that time. And anyway, interesting piece, and Mark was very forthcoming. So have a read of that. He's our cover story this time. What else have we got? I'm very grateful to Dale Collins. There's lots in here about, of course, in the magazine about the coronavirus. So you'd expect that. I mean, frankly, if you look in the media nowadays, there is nothing other than the coronavirus. So we've tried to get as much of a mix of things as we can without, of course, losing sight of the fact that we are in the midst of this crisis. And anyway, I was saying Dale Collins from Grable has written a piece that is very upbeat. It's on, what is it? It's on page 16 of the magazine this month. Have a look at it, and I'm sure you'll find it encouraging and interesting. He talks about the fact that we're living through unprecedented times, and wonders whether that word unprecedented is overused, or maybe not even used enough, because it really is a bit of an unusual period we're going through. Anyway, there we are. There's another story about I've called it "Taking Care of Comms," and it's a subject dear to my heart. It's not written by me. It's written by a communications agency, but it's talking about communications and how important they are, especially at a time like this. But how to do it well, and some of the things that you really mustn't forget, even though your mind is probably elsewhere. Anyway, that's taking care of comms. And I did an interview. I planned to do this interview some time ago, but it's just the way things turn out sometimes, isn't it? How they just turn out to be the right thing at the right time. And I did an interview with a guy in the UK who provides video services, video survey services, and he does the video surveys, not the technology. He's a guy on the end of the phone talking to the customers, and he's got some interesting things to say as well. And he's told me that actually the video surveys, in his opinion, are more accurate than in the days when he used to go along and actually visit people, which I found a little bit odd, but he explains why. And you read the story, and I think you'll get it too. So it's right now it seems to have come as a bit of a surprise to a lot of companies that video surveys actually work. Well, it seems they do. So have a read of that story anyway. And and there's one other story now that I thought you'd be interested to look at. It's called making home working work, and of course, so many people now are working from home, and I frankly don't believe that all of those people will return to the office. I think there'll be an awful lot of people when all this passes through that have been working from home who will find that they like it, and the companies will probably find that they like it too, and they'll keep it that way. But you do have to be a bit careful and make sure that you make it work, not only for the company but for the employees as well. And this story is all about how best to do that. So there's lots in the magazine this time that I'm sure you will find interesting. And I wanted to say one other thing as well. I've been chatting to a few people over the last few weeks, and one theme has come through, and that is that people, of course, have been forced into making lots of changes that they would not otherwise have made. And a lot of people have found that those changes that they've made are actually far, far more efficient and far better for the business and better for everybody, really, than the ways that they were doing things before. And they probably are not going to be changing either. And it's strange, isn't it, how necessity pushes us into doing things that really, if we'd have thought about it, we probably would have done it anyway. It's just that while everything's ticking along, then everybody's comfortable and you don't do things. Well, sometimes things need doing, and of course we've now been forced into doing these things now, and a lot of them are for the better. So, this is a terrible thing, of course, because lots of people are losing their lives and losing their members of their family and friends and so on, which is a terrible thing. Of course, it is. But in terms of the business effect for those that survive it all, actually, it's not all bad. There's probably some very good things going to come out of this, and we'll find out more about those, of course, as the whole thing progresses. Anyway, I hope you enjoy reading the magazine, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.